Hi, this is Mr. Pablo, and today you're going to look at how to write a normal number to standard form. Now, what is a standard form? A standard form is our way of writing very big numbers and or even very small numbers in a way that we don't have to use so much space. Okay, that's an easy way to describe it. Now, there's a formula that we have to follow whenever we're doing that. That is a times 10 to the power of n, where a is a number between 1 and 10, and n is an integer. So 450, I know this is not a very good number, but to start with a small number, that's very good all the time whenever we need to practice. Now, how do we turn 450 into a number in between 1 and 10? Well, we can think of a sum. Alright, what makes 450? Okay, alright. Now, 450, if we are thinking of a number between 1 and 10, that's the same as 4.5 times 100. Am I right? And because this is equal to that, and 4.5 is a value between 1 and 10, then that is our a. That is a value of our a. So we can make a note that this is our a. Alright? But this is 100. And looking at the second part of the formula, it should be 10 to the power of n. Now, how can we change 100 in the form of 10 to the power of n? Now, we can further simplify this by, say, 4.5 times 10 squared. Okay? 10 squared, now that is in the form of index, and therefore 2 is equal to n. And yes, n, if n is 2 and 2 is an integer, then we have satisfied the whole formula. So basically, we've written down 450 in the form of standard notation, or in its standard form. 450 is equal to 4.5 times 10 squared, or 10 to the power of 2. Now, what about this one? What about this number, which is quite a very small number, 0.0057? How do you write this in standard form? So again, we think of a sum, right? Let's think of a sum. What makes 0.0057? Okay, what does it make? Now, if we're trying to think of a number between 1 and 10, you should be thinking of 5.7. That's a number between 1 and 10, which is quite related to that. And what do we need to do with 5.7 so that it becomes 0.0057? Now, you must be thinking now that we should divide this number by 1000 so that it goes back to 0.0057. Now, how do you write this in standard form? Okay. Now remember that 5.7 divided by 1000 can be written as 5.7 over 1000. Okay. Now let's write this in a fraction in a way that the fraction becomes a fraction with an index. What is 1000? You should all know that 1000 is 10 to the power of 3, or 10 times 10 times 10. Now, remember on my previous video about indices, if the denominator is a fraction, the denominator is an index, or a number written in index, if that can be written as a negative index, that can be turned into 5.7 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Remember that when you put it up as a denominator, okay, you must change the sign. This is a positive sign, this is a positive 3, and this should now be a negative 3. So there we go. We've written it in standard form. 5.7 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Now, I hope this video has been helpful for you, and thank you for watching.